What is up, guys? 2-1 win over the Anaheim Ducks, and we got it done. We are so 1-1-1 in the season. We so got 2 points tonight. They so got no points. And Taylor Hall got his first 2 goals as a Devil in the same period, in the same game. That was redundant. I don't care. I'm hyped. So overall, the game was great. First period, obviously, we left down 1-0. Then in the second period, we get 2 goals. Then in the third, no one scores, so we win. Yay, math. Overall, I thought this game was the best game the Devils have played so far this season. I think it reflected a lot of the things we learned in the Tampa Bay and Florida series. I think it was even better than the Tampa Bay game. And I think overall, this is the best hockey we've seen all year. Obviously, we're only 3 games in, so we'd like to see even better hockey going forward. But this was no part of this game really overall disappointed me. There were certain times when players didn't play well, but that happens. That's any hockey game. Obviously, Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry didn't have the best nights ever. Like when Corey Perry, fell over like a giant redwood tree on top of Corey Schneider and squished him like a gnome. That's not nice, Corey. That's not nice. But overall, I think we played a great game. I think players who had bad starts to the game, such as Damon Severson, improved as time went on. So I think this game overall was our best game so far. Highlights of the night, obviously, are Taylor Hall's 2 goals. First one being a slapping that loose puck in there after Michael Camilleri shoots the puck. I say Michael because obviously, apparently, he doesn't like Mike, as we heard from Steve Cangelosi earlier last season. So he is now Michael Camilleri. So Michael Camilleri fires that puck in there. Taylor Hall slaps in the loose rebound. Boom, we're tied 1-1. Then, not too much longer later, he is back on the power play. That is Taylor Hall. Gets in front of the net. Damon Severson fires another one, and there's Taylor Hall. Wadoom! Deflects it down and through the wickets, and it's in the back of the net. And he's now got 2 goals, and we've got 2 goals, and we have 2-1 lead. Rest of the second period passes, aside from the refs having their badges and guns out, and it's just like the Wild West laying down the law out there. They're shooting them down. It was like Duck Hunt, but with players committing penalties. They never missed a penalty, it seemed like. Sometimes it seemed like they might have made some up. But it is what it is. They kind of called us both heavily. We got the front half of the game called heavy against us. They got the back half of the game called heavy against them. Obviously, it worked out in our favor, but I don't think that was their intention. And I think the refereeing was not bad. It was just super, super on point, which we're not used to in this league. So it's weird sometimes when we get the stickler refs. But that's who we had tonight. That's how it worked out. But we got the win, so we're not going to talk about that much. I think the big things to take away from this game was obviously offensive threat. We were much better overall. I think defensively we were much stronger overall. I think people like Johanna Vitu and Damon Severson had good games. I think Andy Green had a good game. Ben Lovejoy obviously made that block shot. I thought he was going to leave the game for a minute. I was kind of scared, but he came back. I think those little skate protectors they were talking about do save lives in seasons, so, hopefully he's okay. I think Devontae Smith-Pelly took one off the calf, so hopefully he's okay as well. So we had a lot of blocked shots, which was very good. We kept the neutral zone. Aside from the one time when we got the penalty shot situation, which was when we were kind of sloppy in the neutral zone, I think overall we played a good neutral zone game. It was very even through there. A lot of the transfers happened there with transfers of control. But overall, I think we played the better game to still get a win. Because sometimes we would get wins last season where we got trounced in the third period, but Corey Schneider built a brick wall, and we couldn't, they couldn't score. And they played a better game, but they lost. That was not the case here. I feel like we played the better game than the Ducks did, and we got the win, which is how it should work out for us, hopefully, in the future and in future games moving forward. So like I said, overall good game. I think looking forward, what do we need to do? We need to capitalize better on shots, which means hit the goddamn net. I think, and I'm going to get an unpopular opinion here, I think, and maybe some other people noticed it too. Adam Henrique is not at 100%, it seems like. Now, am I saying we scratch him or move him again? No, I think the line he's on isn't bad, him, Camilleri, and Palmieri. But I think they need to look at the situation. I don't know what has happened, and I don't know if maybe he's just a little bit, burnt out on this season, or it's a little bit weird that, he did all that preseason practice with Hall and Devontae Smith-Pelly. Now that line no longer is in existence. But, I think he'll get back in his groove, and hopefully we'll see better. The second half of this game for him was really good, I think, overall. It just didn't, I think a lot of shots didn't go his way, and he got defended very well, because if you're Adam Henrique, that's what happens when you're one of our top forwards. Taylor Hall ran into the same problem, crossing over the center line a lot, dealing with those situations. So hopefully he finds the back of the net soon. But overall, again, great game. So now we get on to me picking my MVP of the game. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, it has to be Taylor Hall. Holy shit, it's got to be Taylor Hall. It's not Taylor Hall. He got 2 goals. That's his job. That's what I expect out of him. I'll be honest. It's what I hope to see out of him in the future too, is more multi-goal games, or at least multi-point games again in the future. And then you have, Mike Camilleri set up those goals. Mike Camilleri. Not him either. I'm going with the third star on this one, Johan Avitu. I have an appreciation for defensive play. When I played lacrosse, I was a defenseman, so I have an appreciation for that kind of play. But not only was he a good defenseman tonight, he was a good offensive threat as well. He held the zone when we had to hold the zone. He got clears. He played the puck strong and hard. He got shots on net. He was like one of the best players on the ice for us, top 5 easily. Now, obviously, he got the third star, so obviously the media in attendance thought so too. But I'm saying, like, that keep in the third period to hold the zone on that power play. Yeah, we didn't capitalize on it, but he's the reason we got to keep getting chances. He held it in, it was like 15 seconds left on a power play. That's not something you expect out of a defenseman, but he did it anyway. He plays good. He has good hockey sense. So overall, Johan Avitu is going to be my MVP of the game for tonight. So now we get into the question segment of this episode, and this is going to be something I want to do going forward. Is every Devils video, every day I'm going to record one of these. In the morning, I will post a comments thread in the Devils subreddit where you can leave your questions, comments, and concerns going forward in this series so we can have a conversation and a rapport with one another, because that's what this is about. It's about a community. It's about the Devils community. It's about me being in the Devils community with you, and it's about us conversing through this awesome media that I have with you guys, where I get to be, I get to host this show, The Devils Advocate, as well as be involved in the subreddit with you guys and be a fan of this amazing hockey team that we know and love. So I want to get on have this conversation thing. And I got 3 questions this time, maybe more in the future. Now, if it gets to a point where we're getting, 30 questions, I may not answer them all, but I'll try to pick out the highlights and pick out the ones that I know I can answer the best. But for right now, we only have 3 this time, so it's going to be a fast little segment. So here goes. First question we have is from Clarkson23. He says, I got one for you. Do you think the Devils should try Zacha on the first line? No. And now, I know I'm going to take some flack for that, but because especially how he played tonight. He played amazingly tonight. Pavel Zacha proved why we drafted him and why we kept him through all these trade times. Pavel Zacha played a great game. But the issue you have is Hall, Zajac, and Parento have shown that they have hockey ability together, and they've shown they're a strong line together. So I don't want to mess that up by throwing in another new player all of a sudden. Let's try to get these lines adjusted to one another. Now, the way Zacha played, though, I would not be against him going as high as the second line. I wouldn't be as high as against him as going as low as the fourth line either. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would we demote him back down? Here's what I'm thinking. If we get to a point that he is good enough to play the first line, then you put him on the first line. But right now, he only has 4 NHL games under his belt. Only 4. Now, I know he's playing like he's got the force. But I think overall, you got to remember, he's only got 4 games under his belt. So as far as experience goes, it's not fair to put him on the first line. Now, obviously, you can say this is professional sports. It's not about fair. It's about winning. This is true. But the team didn't play bad tonight with him on the third and fourth lines and subbing in on the power play and on the penalty kill and at the end of the game there. So I think right now his role he has right now is perfect for him for where he's at. Because that way also the responsibility isn't there to get all these points. So he can take the time to learn and get better as a hockey player. So I think overall I would not put him on the first line. I'd kind of keep him where he's at for right now, and we'll see how it goes later on down the road. Our second question comes from Kid Kosher. He says, I got one for you. Following the game, who should be scratched from the next game? And that's a tough question because the Devils tonight played a very, very, very strong game overall. Now, were there people I thought could have done better? Yeah, I think Bo Bennett had some rough times. I think some of the fourth line had some rough times. Vern Fiddler, I don't want to exclude him from that because he did have rough times too. I think the fight at the beginning was kind of dumb. I would not have recommended that, but obviously he's in that situation. He knows what he wants to do for the team, so he made that judgment call, and I can't take it away from him, obviously, and it happened, and we ended up winning the game, but I would not argue that the fight was why we won that game. So anyone on the fourth line or Bo Bennett is probably who I would put up to be scratched, especially with Sergei Kalinin possibly coming back from illness, and also a lot of the other rookies we have waiting in the reserves of being healthy scratches tonight, not dressed. But we'll see how that all plays out. I couldn't give you a for sure on who I think would be it, but it's going to be either, to me, it's either going to be Bo Bennett or someone in the fourth line. Our third and final question comes from K Weeks. He says, Hey, Navy Boy, I have a question. How do you think the Devils will do this season, and what should the Devils improve for this year? I think the Devils are going to do very well. Now, very well in reference to last year, though. I don't think they're going to take... Do I think they're going to take the Metropolitan? No. Do I think they're going to take the Eastern Conference? No. Do I think they're going to take the Stanley Cup? No. What I would want to shoot for them is to either have a wild card spot or be within a handful of points of a wild card spot. We obviously did not finish that way last year after having had a wild card and even a Metropolitan spot. Obviously not the division, but we had Metropolitan spots later on because we had the issues of injuries and stuff like that to Corey Schneider and to Mike Camilleri, and key people were out at certain times. But I think overall the big thing we need to shoot for is just being within range of a wild card spot, and then we shoot for farther than that next year and the year after that. and then we become that perennial team that we want to be and that we were in the past. But I think right now we just shoot for being in the neighborhood of a wild card spot, and then we look to improve from that. If we get a wild card spot, so be it. If we get better than that, that's even better. But overall, I'd say just in the neighborhood of a wild card spot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the game. It was a great game, and I hope you come back next time. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, be you, be awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.